Alright, and here we are, episode 5. We're back at Pokemon Pinball, because I had a lot of fun doing this. So the goal is to complete the pokedex. We've seen 27, owned 26, which is actually better progress than I thought we would get, all things considered, because I played like relative shit. Now I am curious, do Kyogre and Groudon, well, clearly not, because, yeah, they're not here, so we're going to continue our quest to collect everything. So let's get back into this. We'll start here and move on through Safari Zone. Now a smarter version of me would have looked to see what the what the exclusives are, which I still didn't do, because why do something smart, you know? Alright, so if we get something we can evolve it immediately, that's good. So how's everyone doing today? It is Saturday morning. I just saw Mission Impossible last night. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Alright, now we can get the rare spawn. That was annoying. Alright, the other halfway refilled. And now we're fully refilled. This is fun, you know? Just going around the loop over and over again. Ooh, nice save. Got it. Alright. Oh, Pikachu. Now, I think, if I remember correctly, Pichu is exclusive to the Sapphire hatch. I could be wrong about that. I know there are some exclusives to the Sapphire hatch. That's fucking annoying. Fuck. There we go. Fuck. 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 There we go. Alright. Slow motherfucker. It's first thing in the morning. I have to get back into this sort of moving Pikachu out of the way, so I don't have to whisk the Pikachu, the save, which is a little bit of a thing I have to remember to do. Alright. I'm going to evolve into Raichu immediately. That's good. Alright. Ball save. Fuck. See, now I can get it in the bumper. This is the fun thing about this game, and my ability to consistently do what I don't need to do. Alright, I can catch something else. Although, let's see what's in the hole. Alright. Fuck. Alright, another catch. the fuck is that? Every once in a while you'll see these, what's it called? These things, I don't know what the fuck that's meant to be. It sounds stupid, I'm still kind of at a loss. Like, my thought would be Hypnon. Oh, Doduo. We just spent all that time consistently hitting the bumpers. There we go. There we go. Alright. Another one. So this is going to start getting harder once we get to the point where it's like mostly things we've already caught before. Nice. Catch 3. Pincer. Now I don't know if when you do it this way, does it... I would assume Pincer's gotta be a rare spawn, because I remember Pincer was a rare spawn in the Safari Zone itself. So I assume he's gotta be one here too. Nice. If I didn't even get half the run with the, you know, with what's over here? You know, if I can get half the run with the ball saber, is a little ridiculous. Alright. Once again, if I can do this without dying more than once, we'll get a nice cool 60,000 points. So let's see, can we do that? Perfect spot. Abusing a Kecleon, just routinely abusing it. You could tell he's getting tired. Worst spot. Well, you're doing pretty good, all things considered. Fuck. Got him. 60,000 points. I know as I said before, points are not the most important thing here, but they're certainly not a downside. Alright, and we get to travel. Get in the fucking hole. There we go. Forest. I mean, look, traveling again wouldn't be the worst thing, because if you travel enough times, you'll eventually get to the ruins, which is how you get the Reggies and I think Jirachi. If I remember correctly, which I could be wrong. Fuck. 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 Let's see. Fuck. That was a dangerous maneuver by the, Alright. We can hatch and we can evolve. And we'll one away. It's annoying that the Pikachu saver doesn't carry over from life to life. Fuck. And I get why, I believe it's part of the storied history of pinball as a game. I remember there was a pinball game I used to play. Well, I'm sure everyone used to play, but I seem to recall if you went down the side like that, you would, you only could do that a certain number of times before you just kind of never could do everything. If you did it too many times, you would just, the thing would seal off. Son of a bitch. We didn't do anything on that life. That was a complete waste. One of the worst. Fuck me. And that's it. Good run ended by 2 terrible. And you know what? Still not the worst. By a long shot. Although that was entirely saved by, R. Alright. Mountaintop. Cool. Now, you're gonna see that I got into the coin one, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, that's good. If you get into the coin one, you can just deposit directly into where the bumpers are if you get into catch mode. This map is a lot harder, I would say, in a lot of ways. I think hatch is a lot harder because you have to get up that ramp. The entrance into the bumper is smaller. Fuck. It's also annoying that you can't open the mart during this. Because you have to hit those 2 buttons to open the mart. Fuck. And you'll see I've now hit both and then got in. Alright, now if I remember correctly, we did get a Cacnea in the past, but we didn't evolve it. We'll find out if we get an Evo mode going and we try to evolve it. So, I'm gonna try and catch something else, too. Or maybe that's desert? If Cacnea is here, it's gotta be a desert. Alright. Cool. Alright, so we're halfway toward opening another. Oh, we opened the mart. Cool. Such a waste on this slot. Alright, well. Because you can't leave without spending money. Infuriating. Alright. Cool. So now we can evolve or get into Whalmer's mouth. I would much rather get into Whalmer's mouth first, only because I'm not 100% certain that we haven't already evolved Cacnea. I'd like to have a second option on the table. This level is actually deceptively harder to travel on. I think that's one of the things that's kind of interesting about it too, because I think hitting the button is harder than hitting the button for... Alright, well, we're doing this now. I think hitting the button... We did do this already. Alright, well... One of the few we've actually evolved, and we've gotten it already. I think this level is deceptively harder because hitting the button which created it could be right about where the ball is now, and then hitting the thing that pops out is easier than, of course, as I say that, I hit it for a third time. Cool. Plus the other thing about this that's harder is that if it's back there and you die with the saver, you can just get it on the ruby board. Here you have to go around, you can't just loop back. There we go, alright. Plus the Duskull is way harder. Although I think Kyogre might be easier. Got it. And now just getting into the center. Thank you, Whalmer. Alright. Now the annoying Duskull minigame. Alright, I'm about to say something. I'm thinking it, but I'm not gonna say it. I don't think there actually is a bonus to this either, besides just the points. I think it's like the Kecleon, where it's like, look, you get 30,000 points. That's nice, but yeah, this is actually like I would say this is astronomically harder because like you have to do this, and I know it takes less hits once you get 2 Dusclops, but it's like Jesus Christ, you have to get through all of this, knock out all these guys, then you gotta wait for them to appear, then you gotta hit it from behind. If you don't hit it from behind, that happens. And then you get to this point where he's just like right up your ass, and you're just like, okay, cool. Huh, okay, cool. I sat here bitching the whole time. We beat him anyway, so nice. We still haven't died yet, which is nice. I guess I'm annoyed that we wasted the evolve. Is this now 3 straight? Not 3 straight instances of getting that, but 3 straight ball losses that happened as I was sitting there trying to get into what's it called? As I was trying to get into a what's that thing called? A slot. Fucking unreal. Fucking bug over here. So I did like Mission Impossible, for those who were curious. The review did go up like a week ago at this point, because it was on, beware of spoilers, but I liked it a lot. It's one of those things that, like, the more you think about it, the less it makes sense. Fucking annoying piece of shit. Sorry, there's a bug flying around. I think I got it. But it's just kind of like right in my line of sight. See, the thing is, too, that button feels like it has a very large hitbox. I have hit every button multiple times trying to get up there. Oof, that was a nice save. Alright, well, we're not traveling. Now, my favorite thing is, there we go. Alright, well, that was nice. Well, we still can't evolve, even if we do get the Evo thing full. Which we now have. And notice, too, I've now gotten up there twice, now that we're no longer trying to. Chinchu. I know it sounds like bitching, but this is definitely the harder board. Fuck me. Got him. Alright, so that's a new one for the decks. Now But can we get into the slot without dying? This is the question of the day, apparently, because we've already done this now 3 times. So the issue that I had was, like, a lot of the things that they kind of start out with are these really... Fuck me, I've gotten too small. Like, a lot of the issues that they bring up are kind of cool, but they don't really do anything with them. Like, the idea that, like, you have this AI that is trying to manipulate the world to go to war with itself is like, okay, cool. But, like, they don't really explain why, and I don't think you really necessarily have to explain why. Like, I don't need a full motivation for the AI. It's like, okay, the AI wants to destroy everything. Fine. It's a tale as old as time with this shit. But, like, just give me... What's it called? Give me a... You know, I don't need a full explanation, but, like, just stick with that, because I think that's a solid thing. Like, the AI, it's a generative AI that is trying to drive the world apart. Cool. Like, it fits in, and it feels modern, but, like, they don't commit to that. And I think that's the big mistake they make, is that because they don't commit to the idea, fuck, that should have counted. Could you imagine if that counted? It's just luck of the draw that you get that one first. Like, the idea that, like, generative AI is going to be used in this way, it's kind of cool. But then they go into, okay, well, the AI just wants to use nukes to destroy the planet. You know, very Ultron. And it just, I don't think that works quite as well. Fuck. So all of that said, it's like, I don't think it's necessarily I think it's a great movie. I really enjoyed it, but I think that there are some issues that needed to be ironed out. And really, I was thinking about it last night after watching it, and I was like, if it turned out that they made these choices after the election, probably, like, in the aftermath of the election, and it's like, okay, well, we see what AI is now, and what this administration is doing, and Paramount has all these lawsuits, and they're trying to get bought. They're trying to do a merger and acquisition deal with Skydance, and they need FCC approval for that. Like, if it turned out that they were trying to appease, and it's like all the stuff with that kind of is in scenes that could have been done in reshoots. Like, if it turned out that all of that was designed to be reshoots, I would not be shocked, and that would be one of those things I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't agree with it. I think it's not a great precedent to set that you're willing to reshoot vast parts of your movie to appease certain political groups, but it would make sense. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Fuck, we're not getting in. Bullshit. It's not necessarily something I would be thrilled about either, like, but yeah, so, you know, Mission Impossible, fun enough. Go check it out. It's in theaters now. Come on, fucking cooperate. There we go. But yeah, it's just, fuck, why did I do that? I should have moved it off. Either way, it's entertaining. I would definitely recommend seeing it. Even some of the motivations don't make a ton of sense. Where was I going with this? But yeah, I mean, and that was the thing, is that, like, I have no desire to see Lilo and Stitch, and I wasn't going to, and I'm probably not. By the time this goes up, it won't be exactly. Fuck, that was really stupid. I was trying to get the Pika. I just mistimed it. So, not necessarily that I would have. And by the time this episode goes up, you'll see if I did or not, because well, there'll be a podcast episode about it. So if there's a podcast episode, then definitively, you know, I went to see Lilo and Stitch, but I don't think I'm going to. Cause I didn't see what's it called. I didn't see Snow White. I mean, granted, I think Lilo and Stitch is a better movie than Snow White to begin with, and don't come at me about that, because I think that's just like objectively. I've talked about what I don't like about Snow White. Like the original movie, I haven't watched the live-action remake, and I don't think the live-action remake is necessarily going to assuage those problems. But oh, I think there's a finite number. I think I noticed before that my what's it called wasn't filled in. Come on. I don't think there's enough to do there to assuage those issues, so whatever we get, like, I have no interest in watching. I probably watch on Disney Plus. And then it's like I was in, what's it called? I was at the movies yesterday, and it was jammed. A lot of people were there to see, I mean, it's a good weekend for the movies. On top of the fact that up here in New York, it's very rainy this weekend. So we're not gonna, it's gonna be a big movie weekend. Ooh, Relicanth. My first what's it called, shiny. My first non-red Gyarados from Gold and Silver shiny. So I think it'll be a good weekend at the movies to go and see something. But I'm walking by one of the theaters. The theater had the door open, and it's that opening. Not the opening of the movie with Stitch escapes, but the opening with Lilo. It's like the opening credits, if I remember correctly, with all of them dancing with the music. And it's like, it's one of the things. Like, there's a moment where I'm like, all right, maybe I'll watch it again. But then I'm like, no, because it's like the issue with the live-action remakes, and I've said this before, is that there's nothing in the live-action remake that isn't already done in the animated movie that I saw 20 years ago, 25 years ago at this point. Like, I've seen Lilo and Stitch. There's nothing in this movie that I haven't seen already. And I'm not sure. And look, the thing with the live-action remake is that it's not, the live-action remakes are not, I don't want to say they're necessarily. I mean, look, if the source material's good, the source material's good. But if the material, like, all it is like people. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about them where it's like, oh, it's designed to keep the copyright or something like that. And it's like, if that were the case, why Lilo and Stitch? Because that's 25 years. It's not close to losing its copyright. So like that math doesn't math. So it's like it is the same reason we have a reboot of Matlock. It's the same reason we have a reboot of everything. It's reboots are cheaper to market. It's cheaper to market a new thing, an old thing, than it is to market a new thing. And that's why reboots exist, because then you don't have to. There's already a baked-in audience for it. You don't have to sit here and explain what this new thing is. It's like, oh, you know what Lilo and Stitch is? Congratulations, you can now see Lilo and Stitch in live action. Oh, you already know what How to Train Your Dragon is? Great, go see How to Train Your Dragon in live action. And to be honest, well, there goes one. If we can beat this thing. But it's it's literally just that. It's just, we want to, oh, nice, I didn't know that. You can, that's interesting to know. If you hit it while it's trying to do that shockwave, it doesn't impact. Like, Moana clearly doesn't need to, what's it called? Clearly doesn't need to re-up its copyright. It's only like 10 years old. When it comes out next year, it'll be 10 when it comes out next year. Like, there's no copyright that they're at risk of losing. So like, what is it? Well, we know people like The Rock, people like Moana, so we don't really need to, we don't need to sell you on what Moana is. Moana 2 came out last year, people went and saw that shit. I mean, they didn't know that when the live action went into development, but they clearly knew people liked Moana, so they like, alright, well, people like this, we will, we'll do Moana 2. And we'll do Moana in live action, people will go see that. Alright, well, we're done. Oh, nice. That's 150,000 points right there. But 150 million, I mean. I don't know, right into... So, we don't have Altaria. We don't have Lantern. Let's do this, because I feel like the exact same spot that last time gave us an issue. Oh, nice. Okay, we got it. Alright. Fuck. And that's really all it is. I'm not really interested in seeing it, because like, if I want to watch it, I have Disney Plus. I can watch on Disney Plus, and that will be functionally the same experience. Like, I'm not going to be getting anything new out of it, and it's like, and the amount of changes, it's like, I don't have necessarily a problem with some of the changes. I'm just kind of like, but if you couldn't pull it off in live action, that brings us back to the question at hand: why are we bothering? If you couldn't, like, if you can't do a live action remake that's as good as the original, why bother? Like, 'cause that was one thing, people were upset because, like, Pleakley doesn't do his drag routine, which is, like, something that is all over that movie, and, I mean, not just that movie, but, like, the show, too, that I watched copiously on Disney Channel, back in the day. It's just... Fuck. 4 now. That's 4 times. Alright, we got nothing set up, so let's just get back to setting up. So, but it did make me want to watch the movie again. And I'll say that. It did make me want to watch the original movie again. So, maybe I'll end up watching the original movie, but I don't know if that's definitive, and that saber does not stick around for too long. Because I have shit to do, and it's just like, I don't know. I think we need to, like, I was under the impression that we were reevaluating this live-action remake thing, at Disney. Oh, and the other thing we could talk about, the Avengers, delay, and what that could mean, because we had that news. I mean, we'll probably put up a 30-minute reviews about it between now and then, between now and, when I'm talking about this now and when this episode goes up, but, oh, fuck me. Jesus Christ, we're doing fantastic today. Man, that sucked. Alright. Where are we on this now? 34, or 33. So they delayed Infinity War and Endgame into that December spot. Not Infinity War and Endgame, I'm sorry. Doomsday and Secret Wars into that December slot. Disney's had a lot of success in the December release slot. December 16th, that range, the week before Christmas. They like to put out their big movies there. They put out Avatar there, and that did very well for them. They put out Star Wars. I think all but Solo came out in that slot. And it's one of those... That was a nice little visual treat there. So they do well there, and I understand why. It's because you want to get that, people want to send their kids to the movies while they're doing Christmas shopping. It's a good idea, I get that. Now, that said, there is an issue that I have with this. It does leave the early slot vacant. That slot, we're gonna fucking lose this ball. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. It does leave that early weekend, that first weekend in May, which has also been very good to Disney, or Disney has also had a lot of success on. Because that weekend slot is the one where, what's it called? Is the one where, I think ever since 2012 they've put out something big there, a Marvel movie or something. I think the first time they didn't was, like, aside from COVID, was the release of 2 years ago when The Fall Guy came. Son of a bitch. The Fall Guy came out. And The Fall Guy came out in that first week of May. That weekend is the trendsetter. And it feels weird to me that the movie that they're going to be putting there is Devil Wears Prada 2. Which feels like it would be a Disney Plus release. And I think what we're getting to is Disney starting to move away from the Disney Plus release idea, like the Disney Plus exclusive movie and stuff like that, because, like, I don't think the ROI on those are great. Like, if you're paying to, to do those things, like, how much money are you spending to make them, to market them, to, get the movie released, all that stuff. And it's like, why did I do that? Like, if you're doing all that, why bother just dumping it out on a streaming service? Who's going to, people aren't going to be driving to that to the degree that you would need them to make it profitable. That said, when I read the description of what The Devil Wears Prada 2 is, I was like, this doesn't feel like a big summer blockbuster to open the summer. Because that's what this is. It's the trendsetter. It's the movie that's going to, be the opening for the box office. And the idea that Disney's going to spit out that, it's weird. Plus, the other thing is, it's only a year out from where we are. It's actually less than a year from right now, this release date. So the idea that, we're going to put this and just kind of say, okay, well, we're not putting anything here. You could have put anything there. Like, you could have pushed something else from earlier in the year to that weekend. You could have put, what I would have done is I would have moved The Mandalorian and Grogu up. Because I think that when you look at the release slate, and I think that it's a weird thing, because The Mandalorian and Grogu has been shooting for so long, and they've wrapped production for so long, that it's like, why is it not being given that slot? Like, why do you not want to give it that nice long opening and closing where it's like, that way you don't have to worry about, like, anything competing with it. Because right now it's like you have a week between that and then the next big release, which is the first week of June. Because it's next year's Memorial Day release. So a year from now we'll be seeing The Mandalorian and Grogu. So, like, the issue is, like, why is The Mandalorian and Grogu not moving up? I think you get more value out of the entire month of May unobstructed. Like, I think there's definitely more value there. It's just kind of a weird thing. Like, I don't know. Because then it's like you gotta compete in June where you have, other movies coming. I think there's a Pixar movie in Toy Story 5 next year in June. It's just kind of like, why would you do that? But I think the other movies that are kind of lined up are just going to end up delayed. The other movies that are lined up in December are going to end up delayed. Um, and I think that that's not really a bold prediction. It's just like, you're not going to put Messiah up against Doomsday. You're going to move Messiah to like March 2027. You're not going to put The Hunt for Gollum up against Secret Wars. That's stupid. Shrek 5 is not going to go up against... Is Shrek 5 next year? Yeah, Shrek 5 is not going to go up against Doomsday. It's not prudent to do that. So, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening, but I think that this... Like, I understand why they didn't move Starfighter, because Starfighter is being advertised as it's coming out on the 50th anniversary of A New Hope, and it's like, you can't advertise that and then be like, okay, well, we're going to put it out 2 weeks early. Because, like, why? Like, fuck me. This is my least favorite arrangement of the bumpers, because they tend to do that. Just kind of spin around in a circle, and if you don't time it right, you'll end up going straight through them. But yeah, I think there's definitely something to be done there. And look, it's possible that they're just gonna move Mandalorian and Grogu later. Who knows? They didn't announce it yet, but I don't think they're gonna put the Mandalorian and Grogu up against Devil Wears Prada 2, because I don't think, again, Disney doesn't want to self-immolate on that. What would end up happening? They would end up competing with themselves for the same space. There isn't a ton of crossover viewership, I don't think. I mean, I'll be watching both for the podcast, but like that would have been bad if I just let that go. But you don't want to risk it. You don't want to risk people not seeing both and all of that. I'm just kind of a little bit confused as to why this was the new plan. Because again, like I said, it's like, look, Devil Wears Prada will do well, and oh, that's it. Devil Wears Prada, isn't it like the next week? Is it not competing with? I swear to God, these fucking smalls I keep getting. Like, is the Devil Wears Prada 2 not competing with a Colleen Hoover adaptation? I feel like those two will have a very similar audience. They're not coming out the same week, but I feel like the Colleen Hoover one's coming out the week after, because they realize that, like, look, anyone who wants to see Doomsday is going to go see Doomsday the week of, and then, there may be a trade-off, and then the next week, you take your girlfriend to go see whichever Colleen Hoover adaptation that is. And I feel like this is a very sexist way of putting this, but also, we have to keep in mind these are studio execs who had that whole thing with, at Warner Brothers, they had that one where it was like the lean in, lean out, women don't want to be engaged with their stuff. Like, I feel like sexism is definitely alive and well when it comes to, the film industry for a plethora of reasons. So, look, it's just kind of an odd choice to cannibalize in that way if you're this concerned. And if you put the Mandalorian and Grogu in that first week, it's like, this is going to be a big Star Wars movie for them. This is the first time we're back to a Star Wars movie in a theater since The Rise of Skywalker. And you're coming off of a lot of goodwill that comes from the duo again. A lot of goodwill that comes from The Mandalorian over the years. Like, Mandalorian has done a great job of building out a show that people will show up for when it comes out in the theater. Hopefully. Because the show has been good. So, why is this not that release? Like, it's not like we're talking about months or anything like that. We're talking about a very small amount of time between what it was originally slated for release on and what it's released for now. Is it just they don't want the optics of, oh, well, this is a movie that, this is a movie that, we don't want people to think we're rushing it. Like, could that? I mean, I think that's a possibility. I don't know if it's likely. I don't know. The whole thing just feels a little strange to me. Because I don't think that's enough to... Son of a bitch. I've hit the button more times than I've hit... As many times as I've... Oh, and now I got the one. So this is just perfect. And we died. Alright. It's just, the whole thing's just kind of weird to me. And just considering the Devil Wears Prada 2, I don't think anyone's signed on for. Like, I don't think Anne Hathaway is signed on for it. I don't think Meryl Streep signed on for it. Stanley Tucci said in an interview he's aware it's happening, but I don't think he's signed on for it. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, all these key parts of that movie aren't signed on yet, and you're giving a year for it to release. Now look, it's not a big budget effects heavy thing. Like, there are some visual effects, as there are in literally every movie nowadays. But like, it's not Endgame. This is something where it's like, you're gonna get your director you're gonna get a nice system director, as I like to say, your Brock Purdy of directors, who works well in a system. Let him do what he does, and let him or her do what they do, and then you move on to, you release your movie. So, look, that could be the case. That could be where we are with this, but Rhyhorn. I don't know. It's just one of those things that's like, it's something about this. I don't want to say it doesn't sit right with me, but it's not. It's a weird choice, especially when a movie isn't shot yet. If the movie was shot and done, I'd be like, okay, good. They're just gonna put it out there because it's it's a nice feel-good movie. Because like there have been movies that have done well in the summer that are like the more traditionally female-centric movies. Like I think Mamma Mia was a May release, if I remember correctly. Like, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong. I feel like, didn't it come out around the same time as Iron Man in 2008? Like, wasn't that the Barbenheimer of 2008? I think it was, no, because Iron Man came out the same week as Chronicles of Narnia Prince Caspian, because Disney didn't have confidence that Iron Man would do well, and Paramount was releasing it, so they were like, well, fuck it, we'll just throw this here. Like, Chronicles of Narnia will kill it, and then it didn't. So it's just kind of like a weird situation all around. So like it could, but I don't know if it's something that's gonna do what they're hoping for. And I think it's also gonna depend, like that's the thing, is that it's like, that's a big budget weekend. Especially coming off of the way the rest of the release slate has fallen in next year. It's a big weekend because everyone has stayed away from that weekend before and after because of the Avengers for years. I don't think the Avengers movies changed dates up until now. Like, this is the first release date shift for these movies. So the fact that Disney was confident in these dates was something that everyone else stayed far away from. So the idea that you have this huge window, like, it's just kind of weird that you, like, that's the thing, is that someone's going to be able to move their movie back. And the thing is, if I'm a studio and I have a winter blockbuster, I may consider moving it to May. I haven't looked at the slate up until that point, but I'm sure there's a studio putting out something in like February or July or not July, but February or March or April. It's like, hey, wait, we can get that first week in May. Like, fuck yeah, let's do that. Like, that I think that would be a smart move for them. it's kind of just it's just kind of, let's see what happens. We'll put it that way. And I think we'll end there for today. We did a nice hour, and yeah, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I have things to do today. So we'll wrap up there for today. And until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.